India Today tracking the big takeaways coming in from the Supreme Court right after the hearing on the Bulldozer drive in Jahangirpuri. Here are some of those takeaways. Point 1, the Supreme Court, while it heard the matter, break on Bulldozer for 2 weeks. That's what the court says after hearing the petitions. In fact, the status quo to continue in Jahangirpuri for at least 2 weeks now. This comes as a massive relief for Jahangirpuri residents whose shops and establishments were razed down by the MCD without notice. And we're looking at Muslims targeted claim by petitioners, which the government lawyer points that even Hindus at that point, while the demolition drive was carried out, were impacted because some of the Hindu shops, they too were razed down. These are some of those points that were argued and a decision that was made by the Supreme Court, quickly announcing for status quo to continue in the Jahangirpuri demolition drive for at least 2 weeks. So here are some of those takeaways from the Supreme Court's hearing on the petitions on Jahangirpuri demolition drive. Anisha Mathur with a little more clarity on that. Anisha, as we know and see clearly now, the Supreme Court has asked for status quo for at least 2 weeks. They're going to be hearing the matter in 2 weeks to come. Here, the crux of the entire argument, which went on for a very few minutes, was that Muslims were being targeted, to which we hear that the government lawyer has rebutted, saying that even some of the Hindu homes were impacted. Hindu shops were also razed down at the same time. Give us a sense of what really happened in the last hour at the Supreme Court on the Jahangirpuri demolition drive.
Well, Nabila, this hearing went on for about 40 minutes, about 30 to 40 minutes in the Supreme Court. If you see the way the hearing went on, first the court heard the allegations raised by the Jamiat Ulema Hind in their 2 petitions. That Brinda Karat's petition was also heard. Sanjay Hegde appearing for one of the residents of the area, he was also heard. And the court has asked certain pertinent questions with regard to what happened. The court has asked, first of all, of course, as you just said, status quo orders till the next hearing have been passed. There will be no demolition in Jahangirpuri for the next 2 weeks. In addition, the government authorities in Delhi, the MCD, North Delhi Municipal Corporation, the Delhi Police, as well as the authorities in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and other states, as well as the centre, who have been impleaded in the second petition regarding allegations of targeted demolitions of Muslim or the lower caste areas. Those for explanations for all of this, a response in all of this has been sought from all parties. The government as well as the petitioners who have come to the court, both sides will have to file detailed affidavits on what has happened, what process has been followed, whether notices have been issued, what is the legal status of these areas, the shops and homes that have been demolished by the municipal corporation. In addition, the court has also said that we will take it very सीरियस
IVR के भी माध्यम से, मिस्ड कॉल के भी माध्यम से, पोस्टर्स के भी माध्यम से, जहां पे हम दिल्ली के लोगों से पूछ रहे हैं कि उनको क्या लगता है, क्या भाजपा गुंडों की, लफंगों की, दंगइयों की पार्टी, और उनको क्या लगता है कि आम आदमी पार्टी पढ़े लिखे, शरीफ और ईमानदार लोगों की पार्टी है। ये सर्वे हम आज से ही शुरू करवाएंगे और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि इस सर्वे के माध्यम से आपके सामने भी, पूरी दिल्ली और देश की जनता के सामने भी आ जाएगा कि लोग भाजपा की गुंडागर्दी के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, लोग भाजपा द्वारा की गई हिंसा के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, लोग भाजपा द्वारा कराए जा रहे दंगों के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं।
तमाम दलों के नेता वहां पर जा रहे हैं, जहाँ पे इस पार्टी का डेलीगेशन जा रहा है। बीते दिन राहुल गांधी ने लेकर कहा था कि स्टॉप द बुलडोजर ऑफ हिट। क्या कह रहे हैं?
देखिए, हम तो बस इतनी सी बात कह रहे हैं कि भाजपा गुंडों की पार्टी है, भाजपा दंगइयों की पार्टी है, भाजपा लफंगों की पार्टी है, और जब तक ये गुंडागर्दी खत्म नहीं होती, जब तक ये लफंगई खत्म नहीं होती, तब तक ये देश भर में हिंसा होती रहेगी। क्यों? क्योंकि भाजपा तो हिंसा करने वालों को, दंगा करने वालों को सम्मानित करती है। मैंने आज तक इस देश के इतिहास में कभी नहीं सुना।
All right, Anisha Mathur joining us right from court. Anisha, we see Atishi, who is the AAP MLA, already showering quite some comments on the BJP, saying that they are now wanting to start a survey to clarify that they have very sincere, loyal and credible people in the Aam Aadmi Party versus the BJP, who is a party of criminals. That's what she says in her reaction. And this is bound to happen. We're going to see political reactions coming in, a lot of them accusing the the BJP of trying to use the MCD for their political gains. Now, this was also argued in court. One of the petitions that said very clearly that the MCD was acting at the behest of BJP chief Adesh Gupta of Delhi. That Adesh sent a letter to the MCD saying that many of those petitioners, in fact, those stone pelters in Jahangirpuri violence who were accused, their homes must be demolished because they're on illegal encroached land. And soon after that, a day later, was when the MCD carried out this massive demolition drive without notices being given. What more did the petition say? Break down to us what exactly did the petition say? And there were multiple petitions, we understand.
Well, yes, Nabila, if you look at the allegations that were raised during the court hearing as well as in the petition, one important thing that Dushyant Dave, who was appearing for the petitioners, the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind, has alleged that this demolition drive was carried out in the same sequence of events as the riots that took place in Jahangirpuri just a handful of days ago. What Dave has said that is, and the petition also has alleged, is that this is a pattern that is emerging from not just from Delhi but from other states as well, that there is a disturbance regarding some religious procession, regarding some religious function. There is a clash. After that, persons of a particular community are arrested and picked up, and just soon after that, the homes and shops of persons belonging to that community, persons who have been accused in various cases, they are demolished without due process being followed. And that is exactly what Dave also argued regarding Delhi as well, that it was just hours after the BJP Delhi chief wrote to the MCD that action should be taken against the persons who are accused of stone pelting, action should be taken against the persons involved in the rioting, that this demolition drive happened. Of course, on the other side, the Solicitor General has denied these claims. He has argued that the demolition drive for removing encroachments has been going on since January in Delhi and since 2021 in Madhya Pradesh and other areas. So whether the court has now asked for an explanation from all sides. The allegation, of course, from the petitioners, from the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind, from Brinda Karat, as well as from some of the petitioners who came in, one of the local residents who has come in, was that no notice was given to the local residents, that this was a targeted response, a vindictive response after the disturbance that happened in Jahangirpuri in the last few days, that it is a targeting of a particular community, that the demolition drive happened on the same road as the rioting that had happened just last weekend. All of these allegations have pointed fingers at the BJP for using the MCD and the Delhi police for their political gains. What we just heard from Atishi as well, and what we've been hearing from other political leaders across the spectrum, the opposition is alleging that the BJP is using this kind of demolition drives as a political tool. The MCD Delhi elections are also scheduled to happen sometime this year. This political blame game, of course, the political arguments against the BJP have been coming in thick and fast. But the question really is, was there violation of the rules, and did this entire incident happen because of a political push? Back to you.
Right, you know, Anisha, stay with us. I'm going to quickly cut across to the area where situation seems quite tense, and which is why we see huge police deployment. Jahangirpuri, Ashutosh Mishra is joining us right from there. Ashutosh, this comes certainly as a respite for locals of Jahangirpuri who were really apprehensive that their shops or houses could be razed if they are on illegal land. All right, I'm going to cut across to Amit Bharadwaj. Ashutosh, we're going to connect to him. He's also the same area. Amit Bharadwaj, you're there right now. Have you managed to get a word from the locals? Because we heard reactions coming in. A man whose shop has been demolished claims that he was well within the legal periphery and that this was done arbitrarily. The demolition drive was done arbitrarily. He says there are many more shops in areas that are violating the rules. Why was mine targeted? Have you managed to speak to anyone directly?
Well, Nabila, the situation on the ground is as such that you could see the security forces have been deployed in large numbers. And yesterday, India Today Group was reporting from this particular stretch, the Jahangirpuri Masjid stretch. But today you could see that security forces have blocked the entire area. There are barricades and security has been put up on the both ends of the road. So clearly the entire area is in a way inaccessible as far as locals are concerned. On the other side as well, where demolition activity was carried out yesterday, what you see this morning is barricades have been put up. Delhi police is stopping anyone from crossing this particular barricade, and only those people are allowed to enter the this part of Jahangirpuri whose houses are located in this area. So the situation clearly is a little tense, continues to remain tense. The security has been deployed. The idea is to maintain law and order situation on the ground as well. Yesterday we had seen that the locals were angry because of the demolition activity that was carried out, and that demolition activity went on for at least 90 minutes even after the Supreme Court status quo order. And that is the reason why the locals were pretty angry. And today as well, the voice that we were talking about, we had spoken to n number of shop owners and street vendors who had said that they were not provided notices before carrying out the demolition activity in Jahangirpuri. This particular juice center, which we had reported yesterday as well, as and when the demolition was being carried out, this particular juice center, Nabila, was demolished, was bulldozed after the Supreme Court's status quo order. And people like him have been, coming out in the public domain with documents, and they are the one who have been talking that they were neither provided notices from the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. Nabila, there's some commotion here. I'm just trying to figure out what is happening.
Yes, please.
Congress leader Ajay Makan, along with other Congress leaders, were expected to reach the ground today in the Jahangirpuri demolition area. And I would ask my colleague to show you the visuals. There's some commotion. So possibly Ajay Makan is coming on the ground, hitting the ground. Yesterday we had seen that CPM leader Brinda Karat was on the ground. She had literally stood in front of the JCB machines, the bulldozers, and had stopped them from carrying out the demolition activity. Today, Ajay Makan, a Congress leader, a senior Congress leader who is also known for bringing, landmark judgments in Delhi as far as demolition activities are concerned. He has been petitioner in the previous landmark cases where clear-cut instructions by the courts were given out about as to how demolition activities can be carried out. So there's some commotion on the other side of the road. We'll get to know in a couple of minutes as to is it Ajay Makan or the police is just, increasing the security in the area to maintain the law and order situation. Let me tell you one thing.
Amit, we also saw
Ajay Makan had tweeted. Yes.
Locals have already come out and spoken to the media. Many of them are claiming that their properties are illegal. In fact, they have all their papers, they have their documents. They now are seeking compensation. They seem quite upset and angry at this point. Have you heard of a word of compensation coming in from those shop owners who claim that the shops have been there since the 70s, the 80s, almost 4 or 5 decades that they've been, living there and, carrying out business in those areas for that many decades? How can they be mowed down without a notice? And they want a compensation. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. That sentiment is on the ground, Nabila. Absolutely, that sentiment is on the ground, and there are n number of people who have been claiming that they were legal allottees since 1977, since 1980, and they have been running their shops and establishments since 1980s, and without providing notices, their shops or vents were bulldozed yesterday, and obviously these people would be demanding some sort of compensation.
To the Supreme Court, a lawyer speaking on the court's order of status quo. Let's cut across.
पूछा है कि ये क्यों चलता रहा इस तरह, उसको हम देखेंगे और उसको एग्जामिन करेंगे। एफिडेविट कोर्ट के रिकॉर्ड पे लगा दिया गया है। कोर्ट ने कहा है कि ये एक इश्यू है जो सीरियस लगता है और इसको वो एग्जामिन सर्टेनली करेंगे।
सर, तुषार मेहता की तरफ से कहा गया कि जहांगीरपुरी वाला मसला जो था हाईकोर्ट में भी था, हाईकोर्ट ने अतिक्रमण हटाने का आदेश दिया था, नोटिस जारी किए गए थे, तो नोटिस जारी न होने की बात गलत है। क्या आप ये डिस्क्लोज करेंगे एफिडेविट में?
जहां तक नोटिस नहीं जारी किए गए थे, वो हमें जो वहां से इंफॉर्मेशन मिली है उसके हिसाब से हमने ऑलरेडी लिख के दिया हुआ है एफिडेविट पर कि नोटिस नहीं दिए गए थे। लेकिन अब इंडिविजुअल पर्सन्स के एफिडेविट इस बारे में हम दाखिल करेंगे। और जहां तक दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट के ऑर्डर का मसला है, उस ऑर्डर के बारे में हमें अभी कुछ पता नहीं है, ना ही वो कोर्ट को दिया गया है। तो जब वो एक बार रिकॉर्ड पे आएगा तो फिर उसको देखेंगे कि वो किस बैकग्राउंड में पास हुआ था, क्यों दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने ये ऑर्डर किया था। ये नहीं कहा था ना कि अगर कोई इस तरह का पथराव हो, नारेबाजी हो और अगले दिन बुलडोजर लेके आप चले जाइए और तोड़ दीजिए। क्या दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने ये बात कही थी? ये सारा का सारा जो मसला यहाँ पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आया है वो इस बैकग्राउंड में आया है। तो इस परिप्रेक्ष्य का अगर कोई ऑर्डर है तो सर्टेनली उस ऑर्डर को हम देख के और उस पर रिव्यू करेंगे। लेकिन वो ऑर्डर किसी और कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आया होगा, मुझे नहीं मालूम। अब वो आएगा हमारे पास एफिडेविट पर तो देखा जाएगा।
सर, सॉलिसिटर ने ये कहा कि
Yes. We will file affidavits of individuals whose houses, shops have been demolished to say whether they were issued notices or not.
So the government has said that there was notice issued that the demolition drive has been going on since January.
This is the oral submission that has come. Now the government will file an affidavit to say that these are the notices which will.
जो पीड़ित लोग हैं उनसे हम मिलना चाहते हैं, देखते हैं हम कितना आगे तक के जाने बात कर लेने दो। देखो आधे लोग वहाँ खड़े हैं, आधे फिर यहाँ हैं, वहाँ तक चलो ठीक बस करो भाई।
Makin, Congress leader who's also arrived in Jahangirpuri, right there at the spot. Makin is, of course, trying to assess the situation post the demolition drive. We see politicians, one after the other, landing at the communal hotspot right after this anti-encroachment drive was carried out by the MCD. Allegations that the MCD acted at the behest of the state BJP leadership. In fact, we're looking at Ajay Makin, Congress leader, who's now arrived there, trying to, assess the situation and meet with the locals. This comes amid heavy police security that's been deployed in Jahangirpuri at this moment. Remember, the Supreme Court has now just issued a stay. In fact, the status quo to continue. The stay order was issued just yesterday itself. Today, while the Supreme Court hears the petitioners, decides to continue with the status quo at least for the next 2 weeks. And in the meanwhile, the MCD has been given time, the government has been given time to respond to all those allegations of allegedly carrying out this demolition drive arbitrarily. Remember, the MCD has time and again said that this is a routine drive since January. The government lawyer says since January, the MCD has already carried out several anti-encroachment drives, and this was not new. This was just routine. But petitioners alleging that the MCD carried out this drive arbitrarily without notices that were given, and particularly blaming the MCD of targeting a particular community. Let me cut across to Amit Bharadwaj, who's right there where Ajay Makin, Congress leader, is present in Jahangirpuri. Amit, we see Ajay Makin has just arrived. What is he doing there? What's his purpose on ground?
Nabila, yesterday Ajay Makan had said it on Twitter that the demolition activity in Jahangirpuri was illegal and that he would reach the ground along with senior Congress leaders. And what you see on the ground, I'll ask my colleague to show you the visuals. Shakti Singh Gohil, senior Congress leader, has hit the ground along with Ajay Makan, Delhi Congress President Anil Chaudhary. All of these leaders have reached the ground and they are trying to enter Jahangirpuri demolition area. They want to meet the victims. They want to meet the families who have faced the bulldozers yesterday, and they are going to speak to them as to whether proper notices were provided to them or not, and check, and remember, Ajay Makan is someone who has fought several legal cases and has been responsible for landmark judgments in Delhi as far as demolition activity is concerned. On your screens, right there on your screens, Anil Chaudhary, Delhi Congress President, Harun Yusuf, former minister in the Delhi government, former minister in the Sheila Dikshit government. They are entering they are trying to enter the Jahangirpuri demolition site. I will ask my colleague to come forward, and try to show you the visuals as to what is happening on the ground. Delhi police is trying to keep the situation calm as the leaders, political leaders, the opposition leaders are reaching the ground. There you see that is Anil Chaudhary, Delhi Congress President, trying to cross the road and reach the other side of the road to meet the demolition, those families and the shop owners who have faced the demolition yesterday. And Delhi police is clearly trying to keep the situation calm. They are letting in only a select political workers inside the Jahangirpuri demolition area. So these are the visuals. I am also trying to cross the road and to show you as to what is happening. And we will just try to, reach to the other side to show you as to what these opposition leaders are going to do on the ground. Ajay Makan had yesterday said that he will reach the ground and meet the demolition of the families who have faced the bulldozers yesterday. And today what you see on the ground, not only Ajay Makan, Shakti Singh Gohil, along with him, Harun Yusuf, former minister of Delhi in the Sheila Dikshit government, and Anil Chaudhary, all these senior leaders of the Congress party have reached the ground and they are now moving towards the other side of Jahangirpuri C block area where the Jahangirpuri mosque is actually located, and he would be, they are expected to meet the families and the shop owners whose properties have been demolished, So we have just managed to come on the other side of the road. Nabila, I'll try to show you the visuals, and we'll also try to speak to the senior leaders of the Congress party who are here to meet the families and the shop owners.
So are they allowed to meet with the families? Is the police allowing for the Congress leaders to meet with families? Because we know it's a very tense situation and emotions are peaking at this point. We already heard a couple of shop owners who came out very angry and frustrated, upset, accusing the MCD of targeting them without fault. We see Congress leaders now arriving. Are they allowed to meet them?
जो किया है और जिस तरीके से भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोगों के बयान
नबीला, that is
हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई भाईचारा हमेशा बना।
एमसीडी की कार्रवाई को आप कैसे देखोगे, क्योंकि एमसीडी कह रही है कि गैर कानूनी चीजें तोड़ी गई हैं सिर्फ।
एमसीडी ने जो किया है और जिस तरीके से भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोगों के बयान है, उससे साफ जाहिर होता है कि मकसद क्या था, किस तरीके से खुलेआम बयान दिए गए, किस तरीके से अरविंद केजरीवाल खामोश, कोई नहीं बोल रहे, गायब हो गए, साफ सूंघ गया। आज जो जिस तरीके का वातावरण है उसको ठीक करने के लिए अरविंद केजरीवाल और आम आदमी पार्टी सो गई है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी, राष्ट्रीय सेवक संघ, इनका तो हमें पता है, लेकिन ये जो अपने आप को एक नई राजनीति करने आए थे, दिल्ली के लोगों को उनके हाल पे छोड़ दिया है, किस तरीके से उनके घर डेमोलिश हो।
हम बात करेंगे कांग्रेस के सीनियर लीडर।
All right, that was Congress leader Harun Yusuf, who's currently on the spot. Amit, we saw you are right beside where the Congress leader is, along with Ajay Makan. We see some more Congress leaders who have just arrived, including Harun Yusuf. He obviously blames the BJP, accusing them of targeting a particular community. More reactions coming in on that. Let's cut across.
यही चाहते हैं कि शांति बनी रहे, और जो ये लोगों को तोड़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, किसी का भी टूटे, चाहे हिंदू का हो चाहे मुसलमान का हो, किसी का भी जले, चाहे हिंदू का हो चाहे मुसलमान का हो, हिंदुस्तानी का है। इस बात को समझना होगा। सिर्फ महंगाई और भाजपा के खिलाफ बने माहौल के खिलाफ ये सब चीज करवाना ठीक नहीं।
अभी क्या प्रयास करेंगे आप?
जरूर कहीं पर भी हिंसा ठीक नहीं है।
सर अभी क्या प्रयास करेंगे आप? क्या परिवारों से मिलने के लिए जाएंगे? परिवारों से
जरूर हम यहाँ पे आए हैं। हमारी सबसे पहली कोशिश यही है कि शांति का माहौल कैसे बने। यहाँ पे दिल्ली के लोग दिलवाले हैं, कभी आपस में लड़ते नहीं हैं। ये एक साजिश, सोची समझी साजिश थी। महंगाई के खिलाफ देश की जनता का रोष, आक्रोश है, और इसीलिए अभी उपचुनाव में 4 असेंबली थी, भाजपा 0। टीएमसी ने पार्लियामेंट जीत ली, भाजपा नीचे गिर गई। तो ये लोगों के गुस्से को, आक्रोश को बदलने के लिए चाहे राम का मरे चाहे रहीम का मरे, भाजपा की वोट बैंक भरे, ये कोशिश जो भाजपा की थी उसने ये करवाया है। हम शांति बहाल हो इसलिए यहाँ पे आए हैं। हर इंसान का ये अधिकार है कि अपना घर बने। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के 10 जजों की बनी बेंच ने कहा था कि एक गरीब का घर तोड़ने से पहले प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस फॉलो होने चाहिए, और यहाँ पे नोटिस भी नहीं दिया गया, तोड़ा जा रहा है। वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के 10 जजों की बनी बेंच के खिलाफ था। सिर्फ और सिर्फ महंगाई की मार से जनता का भाजपा के खिलाफ आक्रोश है, तो उसको डाइवर्ट करने के लिए ये हिंदुस्तानी को आपस में लड़ाने की साजिश जो की है, उसके खिलाफ हम शांति की अपील को लेके आए हैं। चाहे हिंदू का जले, चाहे मुसलमान का जले, चाहे हिंदू का टूटे चाहे मुसलमान का टूटे, आखिर हिंदुस्तानी का नुकसान है और ये नहीं होना चाहिए, ये हम चाहते हैं।
Is the Delhi police allowing you to meet?
से हो गई बात, हाँ, आपका आर रिपब्लिक से बहुत हो गई।
Is the Delhi police allowing you
आपसे
to
नहीं
meet the
करेंगे,
families?
आपसे नहीं करेंगे अभी।
Goel sir, is the Delhi police allowing you to meet the families?
We have requested police commissioner and we are also cooperating with the administration. With us, so many persons wanted to come. We had decided no, we will go in a limited numbers. Whatever the police had said, we cooperated because we want peace in the area. We don't want to break law and order. What is the situation here? The people of Delhi are living in peace. They want peace. But there is, because of price rises, because of mismanagement of BJP, there is a loss of anger amongst the people of the country against BJP. And look at the results. The by-elections result, the 4 assembly elections were there. Out of 4, 2 Congress won, 1 RJD, 1 TMC, BJP is 0. In Parliament also, and that is why, to divert the attention of the people, this BJP is not concerned for Hindus, neither for Muslims. Ram ka mare ya Rahim ka mare, meri vote bank bhare. That was the conspiracy of BJP. Against that, we are here to appeal the people.
BJP and Aam Aadmi Party are in a war of words over this particular demolition drive, and in fact both are attacking each other. How do you see this political battle between the two parties?
Look, the law is very clear. 10 judges of the Supreme Court have said in a detailed judgment that every poor has a right to have his own house, and before demolishing the house, principle of natural justice should be followed.
So the Congress leaders are now heading towards the Jahangirpuri area where the demolition drive was carried out, and we are showing you more visuals. You know, this is Anil Chaudhary, the Delhi Congress president, who is now heading along with Shakti Singh Gohil towards the area where houses and the properties were bulldozed yesterday, where the illegal encroachment was
we want
bulldozed
to
by
know
the
what exactly the
North
Congress
MCD.
plans to do. Could you try and catch him to find out what does the Congress plan to do on this?
The Congress party right now is going to meet the locals. They have said that they have requested the police, Delhi police, to let them enter the area, meet the locals, and, you know, listen to their concerns. You just heard to Shakti Singh Gohil, he is saying that we are here to calm down the people, to make sure that peace prevails in the area. We'll also try to speak to Anil Chaudhary, who is Delhi Congress president, and we'll try to understand as to what is the plan of action today right here on the ground zero.
आज भी आप ये प्रश्न पक्ष से पूछ रहे हैं। मैं एनडीटीवी से कहूंगा, आप हिम्मत है तो अरविंद से पूछिए, अरविंद केजरीवाल क्यों नहीं आए? अरविंद केजरीवाल एक ट्वीट के माध्यम से अपनी बात कह के चुप क्यों है? आज भाजपा का साथ देकर के दिल्ली को अशांत करके घर में बैठ गए। प्रश्न इस बात का है कि कानून की धज्जियां उधारी गई हैं, तो जवाब केजरीवाल से पूछिए। सर, कांग्रेस के लोकल नेता, यहाँ के क्षेत्रीय विधायक रहे देवेंद्र यादव जी लगातार हमारे हम यहाँ आए हैं। हम यहाँ जिस तरह से क्षति हुई है, सद्भाव की क्षति हुई है, लोगों के जो हक की लड़ाई है वो लड़ेगी कांग्रेस पार्टी। हम कोर्ट में भी जाने के लिए तैयार हैं।
हमारे अनिल चौधरी हैं, अनिल से क्या कहना है इस मामले में?
Anil ji. So you just heard Anil Chaudhary, Delhi Congress president, attacking Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, asking as to why Arvind Kejriwal has not hit the ground, why his leaders have not hit the ground.
You know,
why
it's highly unfortunate that we're looking at this kind of blame game that continues over the demolition drive in Jahangirpuri. That was Anil Bhardwaj outrightly lashing out at Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi Chief Minister, for not arriving at the spot and